Netflix recently released its new series IC814, The Kandahar Hijack, created by filmmaker Anubhav Sinha. The show is based on the real-life hijacking of Indian Airlines Flight 814. Netflix has faced major backlash on social media from Indians after the show portrayed the hijackers only by their code names, thus obscuring their real identities. Netflix was even pulled up by the Indian government for spreading misinformation. Netflix later assured a content review and guaranteed that all future content will be sensitive to the nation's sentiments. A disclaimer was also added revealing the real names of the hijackers. But it isn't just the obscuring of the hijackers' real names and identities that is problematic in the show. Let's unravel what's really wrong with IC814, the Kandahar Hijack. First, let's take a look at the real-life hijacking that the show is based on. On 25th December 1999, Indian Airlines Flight 814 from Kathmandu to Delhi was hijacked by 5 terrorists belonging to the group Harkatul Mujahideen. A total of 191 people were on board, including crew members and the 5 terrorists. The plane was hijacked mid-air and then proceeded to land at Amritsar, Lahore, Dubai and finally Kandahar in Afghanistan. The hijackers did use code names like Chief, Doctor, Burger, Bhola and Shankar, the last 2 being ostensibly Hindu names, but nowhere does the show mention the real names of the hijackers. The real names of the hijackers were Ibrahim Azhar, Sani Ahmad Khazi, Shahid Akhtar Syed, Mistri Zahur Ibrahim and Shakir. The show does not even tell us that these hijackers were Pakistanis and that a couple of days into the hijack, Indian intelligence agencies had identified them as Pakistani operatives and even knew which parts of Pakistan they were from. Instead, the show links the hijackers to Afghanistan and even to Al-Qaeda, suggesting that the hijacking was part of some plan hatched by Osama bin Laden and that if ISI was involved, then it was in a very junior position. This is a straight-out lie. When the hijacked plane had landed in Kandahar in Afghanistan, the Taliban had surrounded the plane and 2 officers from Pakistan's ISI were also present on the ground. The hijacking was in fact an ISI operation and part of the covert war and state-sponsored terrorism that Pakistan has waged against India for decades. In a bid to glorify the hijackers and whitewash their heinous crimes, the show depicts them playing Antakshari with their hostages, being kind and arranging vegetarian food for them and even allowing the hostages to go to the bathroom. So on one hand, the hijackers are thus shown to be compassionate beings. On the other hand, India's RNAW agents are falsely shown as having advanced knowledge of the hijack and are shown torturing Nepali civilians for information, something which never happened. These fabrications are integral to the message of the series that the terrorists may have been bad men who were sometimes kind in their own way to their hostages, but the other side, that is the Indian government, was not much better. They were incompetent fools who were also torturers. This is complete whitewashing of the hijacking operation. In reality, the hijackers had brutally stabbed one male passenger who was on his honeymoon with his wife. Another passenger who was held hostage faced nightmares for years. He has even said that the hijackers would hit the hostages. 17 passengers had also sustained injuries. After a harrowing ordeal of 8 days, the remaining passengers were set free in exchange for the release of 3 terrorists in Indian jails: Maulana Masood Azhar, Ahmad Omar Saeed Sheikh and Mushtaq Ahmad Zargar. And what did these 3 do after their release? Masood Azhar would go on to form Jaish-e-Mohammed and is responsible for several direct attacks on Indian soil, including the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, the 2016 Pathankot airbase attack, and the 2019 Pulwama attack. In fact, one of the hijackers, Ibrahim Azhar, known by the codename Shankar, was Masood Azhar's brother. Free terrorist Omar Sheikh is known for the 2002 beheading of Wall Street Journal reporter Daniel Pearl, who was investigating the financing of Al-Qaeda. In the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks in the US, investigators discovered that Omar Sheikh had used aliases to send money from the UAE to Mohammed Atta, the main leader of the 9/11 attacks. Mushtaq Ahmad Zargar carried out several terror attacks in Kashmir, actively recruiting and training youngsters for militancy. But none of this is shown or even mentioned in the show. So why is an Indian TV show playing down all this? Is it focusing on an unlikely Al-Qaeda connection to let ISI off the hook? Why tell so many lies? Why did Netflix allow a whitewash job for the ISI to get made? India must demand answers.